Welcome everyone to another Profound Sit Down, where we dive into the stories behind innovative companies and the leaders who drive them forward. Today, we have a special guest with us, Mike Vertolli, the president and CEO of ComTec Systems. With a steadfast commitment to innovation in telecommunication and IT, Mike has led ComTec Systems to become a powerhouse in the industry, offering a comprehensive suite of services through its cloud, consulting, and financial divisions. Under his leadership, the company has not only met industry standards, but it's redefining them, cutting-edge solutions and client-centric approach. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Mike, can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and the journey to becoming president and CEO of ComTec Systems?
Yeah, it's a long journey. So this was a high school venture. So as we sit here today, I think I graduated in 1992. I probably started the organization 11th grade, so it was roughly 1990. So we're approaching 35 years. And a lot of twists and turns along the way. So it started off as one organization. It was a company called ComTech Communications, and I was doing mobile phone installations, and it transitioned in telephony. And over the course of 30 years, we made a lot of pivots. We're still in the telephony space, but as you said, now we have our consulting division, a cloud division, and a financial division, all supporting our clients now on a national scale.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like we were talking before we got started, here you are, this large business handling mid-sized enterprise customers, but you started as a high school kid, and I think it was a family business, right? Because I remember from coming to your office, there's a picture there hung with your mom on the wall, so she was involved too and helped out in the way.
Yeah, it's always the things in life that motivate you. My mom was actually a school teacher when I was in high school, and probably didn't have any intentions of going into business with me, but she took care of my stepfather who got cancer, lost her tenure, and then she's like, "Well, I'll join you in the telecom space. I'll do bookkeeping, you do the work," and the two of us worked together for about 20 years, and I think she retired uh, maybe 2009, 2010. But it was a great
Wow,
experience getting to work with my mother for all these years.
that's great. That's great. Hugely important, the family influence and support. So here
Yeah, it
you've
really
you've
is.
evolved significantly, from
Yeah.
what you did then to now. So there's the original vision, which you shared a little bit about, and then you transformed. What is the most recent version or iteration of ComTech, and really what's driving the business forward?
It was probably 2008, 2009. I think we had a little market shift, an economic shift, and I kind of sat back and I'm like, what do I really want to be? What do I want to be in a year, two, five, 10? And at that time, the cloud world didn't really pick up, and we were in a little bit of an influx of what ComTech will become. And we thought about what we were really great at and where we thought the market would be. And at that point, we were just one entity. I broke the company up into ComTech Systems becoming a parent company and then running multiple organizations under it. So we proceeded to convert the company into a cloud organization, offering voice over IP, unified communications, and becoming a true telephony provider of transport internet services. So it was a gamble. You're converting a company that's traditionally used to getting upfront money, upfront contracts to long-term contracts. You're putting a lot of capital in the market. I found that there was a large gap in the deregulated market for public utility, so I started ComTech Consulting, and that division has been hugely successful. We do predominantly mostly large to enterprise organizations, traditionally 500 million and above in revenue, but we're helping them optimize all public utility spend, telecom, gas, electric, cellular. So they'll come to us for an opportunity. They'll come to us with a challenge, which is they're spending a lot, and then our team with our experts will help them build that portfolio up and reduce costs. And we back everything by our financial arm. So we have a quasi bank that helps our clients fund projects that they can't fund on their own, whether it's the telephony side or the consulting side.
That's great. Yeah, and
Yeah.
certainly in all that, some great strategy and not an easy feat. Some of those things are somewhat capital intensive, like you had kind of like I'd inferred. So with what you have in the way of and maybe that's under the cloud services, particularly on the phone, and just being able to handle both phone and internet traffic in more specific and engineered ways, how would you describe some of the more pronounced like competitive advantages, whether it's closer to where you are physically located in New Jersey or regionally, that you're helping solve problems but deliver things that are uncommon for other carrier service providers to even attempt to do?
Yeah, I think that there's a gap. We feel a tremendous void in the industry. I look at it like there's platform providers and anybody who's on Google and they need what we do and they Google the names. There's the big organizations that sell it as a service. And what they're trying to do is just sell volume, very little touch points, You can order it. They're a big name. People hear their names, but you're not going to get the service, the support. It's kind of like a one size fits all. Not great with service. And the challenge a lot of clients have with it, they need interaction, they need customization, they need maybe multiple types of services. They don't do that. So that's a big gap in the industry is that you go to them and it's just one thing you're going to get from them. That's a platform. And then there's a lot of integrators out there that just might buy a hosted platform. They're a white label and they can fill the smaller void. They're cost competitive. They can provide local support. They have all the traditional interactions that clients need. And then between, there's tons of clients that want everything. I need the senior applications. We really want advanced integrations. We need a company that has client success and sales engineers. And we want to order all of our services, whether it's voice, data services, internet, POTS lines. I need cabling, deployment, financing, all from one organization. And that is a very, very small part of the market. And that's where we come in. So the companies, and we can fit whether it's a global organization, we have many global organizations that completely depend on us, and we can still fit the needs of very small organizations, but there's more inside of our portfolio than the smaller organizations can provide, and we can give that intimate touch and that that communication that some of the larger organizations want if they're growing and they need a lot of handholding.
That's helpful to understand, and really everyone I think who's listening in can realize, the gap in options when you're going with the big, platform providers, and then also the limited options with the smaller carriers that really just have a couple pure play offerings. And here you stand as something different where you can go a wide range of different solutions and kind of handle all that from a consulting perspective. I think it might be helpful just to take a moment and just maybe if there's a case study, not maybe an official one, but just something you can highlight as how you've kind of brought to bear those consulting services and solved maybe a multi, tiered kind of approach to bringing that customer that you talk about that's looking for more and solving X, Y, and Z. Can you kind of take us through a more specific example?
Sure. So in the consulting side, that is an interesting world. We all live in a world of deregulation. Yet when I say it, people go, I've heard of it. I didn't really know if we're in it, right? Like we're Pennsylvania, it's a deregulated state. But yet it's amazing how many clients and large clients we have that are going, I just pay my bills, whatever I'm getting billed, electric company or gas company or telephony. It's very complex. It's going to have multi locations and meters and things like that. So what we found is that they would love to depend on a company like us, and they think they have the right people inside the organization. And you find that really with anything. If you have a CFO, if you have an attorney, you have an IT guy, you're very dependent on the people you hire, but you really don't know their true capabilities till you hire a professional outside the organization, which exposes maybe the capabilities of what you had within the organization. So we're usually brought in as you're not going to find anything, but you're welcome to check. That's usually how it starts. So the case study, I would say, um, probably was a client we targeted in Philadelphia, one of the top three largest healthcare providers in the Philadelphia region. And they have multiple people assigned to all the things that we do. And one of the things we tout is that we are a budget neutral company. So we're not like the big firms that charge you a fee up front and then they bill you for what they anticipate the savings to be. We started off with a model of putting our money where our mouth is, where we don't want anything from the client until they achieve the savings. So we don't even want them to pay us till the month after they've already achieved the savings. This way they're budget neutral. They can make key decisions. They have the ability of negotiating with us and feeling really good if we do a revenue split, that it's 100% sure that it's in their hands. And we typically won't engage unless we can save 15% or more. So that's a big number. So some of these companies are spending millions a month, which is equivalent to their entire bottom line if we were to find 15%. So this large healthcare organization gives us their bills. We have 3, 4, 5 people in each division. And I think we ended up saving them 30% across the board. They just had gaps. They were paying for bills that weren't theirs. They had deregulated invoices invoices from deregulated states that they weren't aware of. And just by really exposing it, pushing it into our engine, our software engines, and then doing predictive spend analysis for them, we were able to save them almost 30%. So it was a huge, huge savings for them, great for ComTech, for our reputation, and it led to a lot of other organizations in the same sector doing business with us.
No, that's great.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would just highlight, sorry to interrupt. I would just highlight there that that is a different business model, this budget neutral approach that you're talking about. I've been working in the industry for a long time, just like you, and I know that a lot of the consultative approaches do have sometimes an upfront retainer or do have, something that's very heavy, I'll call it, that the customer has to agree to early on in the process. So that's remarkable that you're willing to do that.
Yeah, we kind of do it because everything I do here, I do from the experience of the opposing person. So like I would never enforce something that I wouldn't want to do myself. So I've always had a challenge of people promising me something and not delivering, whether it's a contract or, so the way we did this program is like, how would I want to buy if this was me? If somebody gave me the same exact promise, what would make me feel really good? Like what would make me feel really good is I'm not going out of pocket. Let's say I charge 25% of savings. Well, that means 75% of savings is in their hands, something they never had prior. They feel really good about paying us if it's the month after, it's completely proven than me billing them, or like our competitors might say 50% of the first year's anticipated savings up front. And then they go chase them down or actually wonder what really happened along the way. So yeah, everything we try and do, whether it's customer success and installation, it's all built with the presence of mind of how the party that we're working with would interpret our services. And that's what we build all of our processes and procedures around, giving that client a great experience.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you make it easy for the customer, how the deals
Brilliant.
just flow. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the industry as a whole, some of the challenges, some of the trends. You see a lot in the telecommunications IT landscape. You see how it's constantly changing. What are some of the bigger trends you're dealing with right now that customers are coming to you with, or perhaps also things you're trying to solve for what's coming next?
Yeah, so I'd say I'm going to shift to our cloud division for that.
Yeah.
So I think we were on a multi-year, maybe almost a decade-long rollout of companies going from like a premise system to the cloud. And the names, and we went from having two or three major names in the industry to dozens. And I think it was very confusing for the client base. What we have seen in the last 4 years is especially in our larger clients, mid-level to larger, are migrating to Microsoft Teams. Um, it's a convenient product. It's much less expensive than buying a separate VoIP product, but it doesn't do all the features and applications. So we saw this trend early on. We did a full integration with Microsoft. So now anybody who wants to use like a Microsoft product, say Teams for their voice calling, can actually use ComTech in the back end. So it gives them a lot more features. Basically, we voice enable Microsoft Teams, but all of our products are embedded into the Teams ecosystem, so they get features and functionality on top of Teams that they could never get if they were just using it. So a lot of companies who are migrating that way go, wait, I can have all the best of this world, which I was used to, but use my desktop application that I'm really comfortable with, that I've launched worldwide, for telling everybody we're using Teams in our voice calling, but they don't have to give up anything. So that's been a trend, and it's hurting some of our competitors that sell a product. Or if you go to our website, ComTech, we don't sell a brand. There's no brand on there. We try and listen to what our clients need, and then we will roll out solutions that fit the need. So we're not stuck selling something to a client that we have bought. We are able to sell our clients and help them purchase things that actually meet their business requirements.
That's good. So Teams is a primary Teams calling is a primary thing that you're seeing. What about some of the upcoming aspects related to, the overly used term, AI, or AI agents that are going to be plugged into some of the things you do for maybe call reporting or that sort of thing. What do you have there?
I think what I look at it is like sophistications are coming, and it's never stopping, whatever we want to call it. So most organizations are using technology to help them run a better, more efficient company, right? That's why we buy it. It's our people, which are usually our most costly expense we all run. It's payroll. And usually technology is there to help that costly expense be as effective and efficient as possible. So when we look at how this technology is rolling in, we constantly look at ways that technology can be deployed cheaper, more efficiently, and unfortunately to displace people, which is a big expense. So AI technology is coming in, right? So we're seeing it in the call center world. We're interpreting things in call centers, texting. Everything's about efficiency. Everything's about how can we help this client, save money with personnel time and do more with less, right? So it's rolling in. I see a lot of changes. I wouldn't say so much right now that it's impacted us, but I do see layer after layer, they're using various forms of AI technology and they're embedding it into our software. And all it is just making people more efficient, and they're gravitating to it because I think business owners can see the value in it. It can help companies explode. when you can actually reduce operational costs but add efficiencies at the same time.
I agree. I think that something that we've been thinking about as a business and many other businesses, of course, it's kind of the air that we breathe because of AI and automations. We have to lean into it. Digitization was kind of the first thing, which is long since passed. It's like, okay, cool, you're paperless. You're on VoIP. You're doing all these things. You've done some virtualization. You've lowered costs for doing things of technology as technology cost has reduced. But I think the next thing is automations, AI enabled automations, improvements in workflows, because the new and upcoming businesses that are forming are using that from the go. So this is the thing that the customers are going to be challenged to do into the future. So what are some major shifts? We can maybe use this as a transition to talk about, cloud-based communications provider. How do you see your role, changing, maybe as a traditional telecom as it's evolved? What is that looking like in the future?
Yeah, I think the largest shift that I have seen probably in my career happened after COVID. When we went from a work from home model, and I'm sure you've seen it in the news, right? People don't want to go back to work. Well, that changes the way we all communicate. So if you weren't cloud-based, if everything was in your office, those type of organizations that were slow to roll newer technology really paid a price, right? So we looked at it prior to COVID and an organization, we said we really come in here to access everything outside our organization, whether it's our software, we were already paperless, our voice systems, really everything existed in data centers or external. So we were like, we're really coming into the office to waste time because I'm not really watching people what they're doing in their office. So migrating to an organization based on KPIs, metrics, and really looking at not the time that people are spent clocking in, but looking at the productivity measures of each person, that changed the mentality. And we started educating our clients on that, going like, you don't really hire people to work 40 hours. You're assuming in 40 hours there's a certain amount of work. Let's focus on what the achievable goal is, right? That's productivity. The tools that we sell are just that. Like you can let people use an application like this where we have video conferencing and we have unified communications and they can be at home, right? There can be collaboration, screen sharing. There's all these tools to show that people are active, but they don't have to drive. It allows organizations to hire personnel outside their geographic window that they might have been forced to hire prior. It allows people to be more engaging. I think people actually will agree. Our clients will say this all the time that we see and communicate with our staff far more now that we've embraced a lot of your products than we ever did when they sat in house 20 feet away because there's all of these collaborations. And then, there's AI, there's note taking, there's all different types of tools to make people really efficient. There's tools to give leadership that comfort that their team is productive. So yeah, we're seeing that shift, and I think it's being embraced. I mean, I know there's a lot of companies that couldn't make the turn or saying come back to work, but when I look at it long term, I think we will be in a world where maybe the office isn't as important. It's more as important. It'll be more important to organizations to show the productivity of their members, and our tools will keep evolving.
Yeah, I like that answer. I haven't heard that answer before, where it becomes kind of a productivity play, since COVID especially, but that's really what it is. And for the businesses that want to make it through this period, the post-COVID kind of transition, embracing the tools is what is necessary. And the way that ComTech is helping its customers do that and the messaging you're doing is really supporting the strategy improvements that are necessary for businesses to survive and then hopefully thrive. So you acquired this company, Gain Communications. What was the strategy behind the acquisition, and how's it enhance your service offering?
So it was a partner. So this is something we've done in the past with other partners. So if they reach a size where maybe the owner wants to retire or, for whatever reason they want to leave the industry, a lot of our agents or a lot of our business is brought to ComTech by agents, which are nothing more than partners. They refer money to us or refer business to us, and we pay them a commission. It reaches a point where sometimes they're making an evergreen commission of a substantial amount. So sometimes they say, I want to cash it in, right? I'm making whatever. I'm making 60,000 a month from you. I'd love to be able to walk away from my organization. What's that worth? Well, to us, we're saving the cost of commissions and then we're acquiring all the clients. So that's a normal transition for us if somebody wants an exit strategy. So we will buy them out. So that's one of the advantages of partnering with ComTech. This particular company uh, was close. We had a geographic footprint that overlapped. It was an office space that we wanted in New York. Probably 25-30% of our clients are in the Manhattan slash northern New Jersey, at least as their headquarters. So it gave us instant access to additional personnel, a few hundred more clients that we didn't have, and an upsell opportunity for all of our products and services to a client base that we never had an opportunity to talk to. So it was the stars were aligned, and ultimately it saved us on ongoing commissions. And then the owner operator got a tremendous payout and got to sail off in the sunset, and he still helps on the side organization. So it was really good.
That's great. That's a good deal. So I'm going to ask you this question, even though it sounds a little bit, standard, but given how favorable your answer was about transitioning to KPIs and helping customers with productivity tools, you might actually have a good non-standard answer for this. And we talk about how your company is redefining industry standards, but honestly, what does that mean? You're pushing boundaries in the industry. How do you feel that ComTech is remarkably different and in doing that?
I think it's all about helping clients utilize technology, right? Too often people will sell a piece of technology, and I think that technology is really only as good as the company that helps deploy it based on their understanding of the client using it. And too often things are sold in a silo and they don't really understand the capabilities. So one of the major things that we will do before we're ever even deploying something is take the time to understand why the clients are looking, what are the goals of the organization, where do they see themselves, and how technology can be applied to help them run a better company. Once we do that, our deployments, even maybe it's I'm selling the same product to somebody else, and they go, our experience with ComTech was significantly different, right? So we're helping the clients not only onboard the right product, but once it's onboarded, we have a division here we call it client success. Some companies call it inside sales, but it's a little different here. Like their whole job here is to just understand the needs and wants of the clients and help ComTech, me, run a better organization through the eyes and perceptions of our client base. So their only job is to know every client, what they're thinking, what they're doing, what we can do to run better, and bring those ideas back to us, just to help us completely, you know, um, align, the goals of ComTech with the goals and needs of our client base. So that's a big differentiator that's helped us run a better organization. And we have a 99% retention rate. So not many clients come on board and leave us, where the industry might be at 60%. We find that most clients, they want something that works. They want a company that's very attentive. And as long as your organization can evolve with them, which we try to stay on the cutting edge of next level, next generation opportunities and applications, they're never going to leave you.
Yeah, that's a testament to how well you're doing over there. And so we can continue with that thought about how your attentiveness to the cutting edge is really why, partly the reason why, along with your customer service, people stay with ComTech. But what are some of the upcoming services, new services, offerings, or initiatives that you're most excited about that are maybe your customers are only more recently familiar with, or it could just be coming down the pike here soon?
Well, I think a few things. So from the consulting side, we have now AI-driven applications into our dashboarding. So when people have large energy spends, we can do predictive buying. And what it means to the client is that we're able to educate them on forward-thinking metrics on where the energy market's looking to go and how to buy, when to sell their contracts. And for us, it might help generate an extra 3 to 5% of savings that nobody else could do without these metrics. So it's a complicated matrix in the back end. To a client, it just looks like it's a wonderful piece of software, amazing metrics, and the results are really transformative to them. When I look at the cloud side of our company, uh, where I think things are changing, was that the question? Where are things changing?
Yeah, so upcoming
Uh,
services that would be derived by changes or new initiatives that, of course, are driven by change often.
Yeah, we have a platform that we've been working on for years. So it's called the client experience platform. So things are we're changing it from a phone system. Some people might have called it a PBX years ago. Then they called it voice over IP, unified communications. The newer term that ComTech has created that I'm sure the industry will follow is it's the client experience platform. So we call it our CXP anywhere. And what it actually means is it's not just about phone anymore. There's integration with social media. There's integration with chat. It's email. It's voice calling. It's call centers. It's any form that you can visualize, see, communicate, hear, touch a client, partner, vendor, all into a single platform to give everybody just a great experience, give you the dashboards, give you all the metrics, all rolled into one system. So we really see that as the way of the future, pulling all these new engines that exist into a single interface so companies don't have to manage communication from too many different call flows. And we now have global data centers. So our organizations that were growing from the US based all over the world. So now there's very few countries, there's only a handful anymore that we can't have facilities in. So that gives some of our largest enterprise clients the ability to launch our products and services globally.
That's great. Where do you envision ComTech Systems being in 5 to 10 years from now?
I got to tell you, I always surprise myself. So things, I always shoot for the moon for myself, and I'm probably a person that's never happy with where I am. Um, it's just always been myself, right? So I put the most pressure on myself. I always think we want to grow, but we want to grow responsibly. We want to grow profitably. And there's some certain things in order to do that. I don't want to change who we are. But I do see that there's tremendous opportunity. Things that I did not see happening, that's been the largest surprise to me over the last 2 years, is the number of agents, as I described earlier, the companies that want to promote our services are growing by the day to such a degree we can't even keep up. There's so many companies calling, signing our agent agreements, literally hundreds at a time. Um, and they're bringing us into all these opportunities, and we don't know what this even means at this point. We're in this exploratory world of saying, look, I'm seeing literally hundreds of opportunities flow in where we might have had 10, we might see 100 today. So maybe 10 times the flow that I saw 5 years ago. And the
Wow.
size of the organization, it could be a global company with tens of thousands of seats. It could be, a multi-site organization with, hundreds of locations. It could be just a small doctor's office. So I don't have really a wish list on revenue. What we're trying to do is, now that I see all this happening and it's mature and we want to do it responsibly, so we're very much focused as an organization on all of our metrics and then all of our corporate processes and policies. So that's really been the focus so that we can grow and still maintain the strengths that we started with. And that'll be something I will not change. So we will slow down growth to make sure we maintain great relationships. But I do think we will be an entirely different company in a few years. But hopefully to the clients, it'll be the same ComTech that they've enjoyed for the previous 30.
That's great. That's great. And that just speaks to your culture and now you're leading the organization. Good for you. So what are some maybe essential questions that you'd want to ask these or that a customer would like to ask themselves as they're kind of working their way through some of the things that ComTech can help them with? What are some of the essential questions that they could be asking?
I think when you're in the consulting side, we're a public utility specialist. So when you think of anything you're spending on telecommunications, whether it's internet, voice, cellular, gas, electric, when you think about energy spend, are you happy, right? Are your bills very consistent? Do you want to have somebody take a look at it? Like, I think in the cellular world, if you're not one of those organizations that's bring your own device, it's extremely difficult to manage the ebbs and flows of diverse billing. We're a company that helps flatline that and reduce those costs. So if you have a challenge and you're seeing something, it costs them nothing to have ComTech take a look at it and tell them, at least, here's what we think you have in anticipated savings. So that would be something I would say on the consulting side is, don't veer away from running something by an expert, because there's companies like us that don't charge. And we're perfectly fine with saying, look, we looked through everything. Here's your savings. If they don't go with us, there's no downside. If we tell them here's their savings and they want to try it on themselves, we say go do it. But if you want us to do it, here's our fee. So we make it very easy. And I have all those answers come back from clients. So we make it very easy to do business with us. There's no downside. On the cloud side, I think things have changed. I think most organizations need to look at the money that they're spending in technology as a tool to make their company more efficient. And they have to stop looking at it as an expense. I think for years, companies were going, how much is it, for the voice system? How much am I paying? And when they really think about the relative cost of that system to personnel, it's absolutely insignificant. What they should be thinking is, is there tools out there that I can spend money on that are going to help significantly reduce my overall expenses and make my team more efficient? And if they can start thinking that way, they'll start thinking like a bigger organization. And that's where our tools come in. We can show here's how you can maximize the potential of clients calling you, right? Here's how you can maximize new patients, or here's how you can maximize, new onboarding of potential clients, or, their personnel, their uptime. So the tools are there. I think it takes a client willing to listen and think I'm not spending. I think that's a mental break for people sometimes. And when they start seeing the potential of out there and comparing it to what it could accomplish, it's eye-opening. They go, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? I can't believe it. Like, well, every day is a new beginning. So we start fresh. So here's what we're doing for a lot of organizations. Here's the case studies, So I think once they see it, the proof's in the pudding.
Absolutely. How can businesses get in touch with ComTech Systems if they want to learn more or work with you?
We have everything on our website. So it's www.comtechsystems.net. So I think that's the best place to start. I'm always available. I'm Vertolli at comtechsystems.net. I have a LinkedIn profile that's open. So yeah, if anybody wants to jump in with me, run questions by me or ask a few more things, we have a team here, very open to consulting. We're a no charge, no frills company, so they can kind of engage, see if there's a fit. We love engaging with people, sharing what we think, and hopefully make a difference for their companies. And we work off of referrals. So it's really big for us to help organizations and get the message out there.
What's the value in working with a company like Profound Technologies that's in the IT space but doesn't do exactly what you do, but it's here to help your customers at times?
Well, it's two ways. So a company like Profound, I think it's very hard to find the technology providers when you need them. Right. So I think Google, you go, oh, I'll just Google it, but you don't really know their capabilities, their reputation. It's for us who we pride ourselves on being able to offer our clients great solutions. When they have the type of needs like Profound, when they need video, when they need other different types of technology, when we can go to our partners that are already trusted, vetted, capable, and collaborative with us, it's huge because we want to give our clients a great experience. I know most businesses don't want to have to research something that they know nothing about. They would much rather go to their vendors and at least get a jump start on people that have the potential reputation to support them. And that's where those type of relationships really play. I mean, we have thousands of clients we could refer Profound to and vice versa. And they might not choose, but at least they go, that was so helpful. It saved me time of researching something I really didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that. Yeah, so frequently is the case, when we talk about, our relationship with you, our relationship with our agents, frequently they're sitting sometimes literally, but many times virtually at the boardroom table. The customer says, somebody can help, with this meeting room, with our multi-purpose room, with this microphone system. And, Profound Technologies help solve problems in the audio-visual presentation rooms. And so that's where we're glad to work with you.
Yeah.
Mike, this has been a fascinating discussion. And thank you for sharing so many of the insights from ComTech Systems' journey, industry trends, and future of the telecommunications industry. It's clear that your team is making a significant impact, not just keeping up with the industry, but redefining it. So to our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about ComTech Systems, Mike makes himself available. And you can also learn by visiting their website at comtechsystems.net. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Kevin.